Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and true crime addicts, and welcome to The Struggle, a news talk show that's powered by the hope Disney Plus doesn't follow the fate of Google Plus. I'm your host, Tavleen. Welcome. Tonight, we discuss selling sand, an electrified emu, and matching millennials with the elderly. Alan Jones has once again hit the headlines, this time for disparaging comments made towards New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, after she urged Australia to take more action on climate change. Jones unleashed an almighty tirade of abuse towards Ardern, calling the New Zealand Prime Minister a clown, lightweight, saying she deserved a backhand, and at one point suggested a sock should be shoved down her throat. Backlash was swift, including the scathing review of Jones from former Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull.
I think his pattern of using abusive and violent language against women, particularly women politicians, is disgraceful. He is an appalling misogynist in the way he talks about women.
And as advertisers ripped the products from his show and politicians condemned the belligerent broadcaster, Jones wasn't without a sock puppet in his corner, with Pauline Hanson proclaiming uproar was being generated by a fake outrage mob. I mean, if Pauline had her way, she would probably have this mob dealt with the way she wants police to deal with climate change protesters, with a cattle prodder. Oh, so is that why the climate strikers at Monash Uni were sprawled all over the ground? Rather than feeding the troll, though, Jacinda Ardern responded with the characteristics that have endeared her to many: level-headedness, and even a bit of wit.
I understand that he, of course, used to, be closely linked to the Wallabies. So let's just say I think that revenge is best served through a Bledisloe Cup.
But maybe Alan simply knows better than one of the world's most progressive leaders on one of the most pressing global issues. Or maybe he even knows better than the climate scientists themselves.
I am a climate scientist, and Alan Jones is wrong.
Can't deny the evidence. After doubling down, Jones eventually apologized for his comments. Sort of?
You did go too far on those comments about Jacinda Ardern.
Well, look, my comments were metaphorical comments, and if I give offence to somebody, I have always apologised for that.
What wasn't metaphorical, though, was the number of advertisers that not only pulled their ads off Alan Jones' show, but from the entire 2GB station. And while he's been put on notice by his employer, it doesn't look like Jones would be out of work for long if he did get the boot, because with the number of socks being sent to head office, he'll most likely need to open a laundromat to cope. Look, while Jones might get paid $4 million a year to broadcast dribble to his audience, we can do that for free. To show you just how it's done, we crossed to two of my most favorite people, our HR manager Denise and our far-right correspondent Pauline Hansang.
As the Struggle's beloved HR manager, there are some concerns with these political issues that have happened that we really need to address and even speak about the real victim of this story. So to help me in this discussion, we have one of our other lovely correspondents, Pauline Hansang, Pauline Hansang, to help us discuss this. Where is she? Pauline, come over here, come on.
Is this the right place?
Yeah, this is the right room.
For the interview?
Yeah.
With you?
Yeah.
Dennis?
Yeah. Denise, yeah.
Alright. They told me that he was with someone else.
No, that person called in sick, so I get to fill in today.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, it'll take
Whatever.
2 minutes, yeah.
Whatever.
So Pauline, how do you feel about the comments Alan Jones made about wanting to shove a sock down Jacinda Ardern's throat?
I mean, I wouldn't mind having a sock shoved down my throat by Alan Jones, you know. I don't know why Jacinda Ardern is complaining. She's always complaining about all these trivial things. I would love it if my fifth husband actually shoved a sock down my throat, but then he never did. He didn't even know we were married. I forged the marriage certificate. Darren, don't touch me.
Sorry. But don't you feel like there's a real victim here? That's not actually Jacinda?
Yeah, it's me. I'm the real victim. That's it. I don't have anything else to say. I'm the real victim because I deserve to have that sock shoved down my throat.
But what if maybe the sock is the real victim here?
Are you off your chops?
No, but here at The Struggle, we really care about equal rights. And I think sometimes I think sometimes clothing needs rights, you know? Who's representing the clothes from being threatened to be shoved down other people's throats? Why the sock? Why not a t-shirt? Maybe a t-shirt wanted to be shoved down Jacinda's throat. Or even a pair of jeans.
I think a t-shirt's a bit too long. I feel like the sock's a perfect size. What I want to say is that socks should have just grown thick skin, take it as a compliment, shouldn't have smiled at strangers, okay? Just take everything with a grain of salt. But like, most importantly, Alan Jones.
Well, thank you, Pauline, for, we're done now. Thank you for sharing your insights. See you at work. So next time you're thinking about shoving a sock down someone's throat, remember, the sock has rights too.
Let's just leave that there. Moving on to the inner Melbourne suburb of Albert Park, where a 2-bedroom home is expected to sell for up to $1.2 million. I know what you're thinking. $1 million? That's more than I make in a week. The price alone might be out of reach for our fans watching, but there's a reason we are telling you about this. The property doesn't have a kitchen or even a bathroom. The agent is describing it as a true black canvas. This coincides with a report from the Grattan Institute, which found the wealth gap between generations continues to widen, leaving young people behind. While the cost of living has increased for everyone, the wealth of households for people under 35 has hardly changed since 2004. With an economy like this, it's tough seeing a property still so far out of reach without something as simple as a bathroom. It's ironic though, given we have had a gutful of it.
The reverse granny flat. A millennial couple living out the back of Nonna's.
In more grim property news, some young people have been adapting to this rough housing landscape by living with their grandparents. Contrary to their original use in the 1950s, the bungalows of older and wealthier relatives are being seen as a viable living arrangement for younger generations. But here at The Struggle, we recognize that not everyone may have a relationship with their grandparents. And not every senior has someone to who they can give a spare room. Thankfully though, our millennial correspondent Emily has hit the streets to help find a solution.
Welcome back to I'm a Millennial, Get Me Out of Here. Now we're all looking for that perfect match, the person who we can live with, person who we can spend time with, a person who won't send passive-aggressive messages when you forget to clean up after yourself. That's right, we're looking for the perfect match, not romantically, but for housemates. Now we've hit the streets here today to find hot young singles to match with mature seniors. Would you ever consider perhaps house sharing with an older person, perhaps?
I have heard of this. I think it's a lovely idea. Would I consider it? Possibly.
If you were looking for a housemate or somebody to stay with you, what would be what would put someone ahead of everyone else? What would be a reason for why you would want them to be your housemate?
Well, probably fairly quiet, no animals, and tidy.
How would you feel about sharing a house with young people, for example?
Fine. Yeah. I mean, obviously, there's going to be big differences. We're both approaching 80, but we meet a lot of young people. Yeah. I do a lot of flying, and a lot of them are very young, and I'm probably the oldest in the flying club. So, yeah, I'm used to communicating with young people.
Whether they can put up with us.
Whether they want us. I mean, we are definitely grumpy old people. You know?
And there'd be some house rules, yeah.
Would you potentially want to share a house with these two?
I don't see why there would be an issue with that, really. I just think, to me, it's only about what's my responsibility. If there's any added responsibility about helping someone out, which I'd be happy to do if I wasn't in a different stage of my life, then absolutely. But they seem great, so no problems there.
So would you ever consider living with an older person?
Yes, I think I would.
Is there any benefits to living with young people, or?
Yes, definitely, yeah. That's why we're not living in old folks' home.
Yeah, keeps us thinking younger. Yeah, we've learnt to use the computer, and I'm actually that might be high on my list. Somebody's got to put me right on my phone.
Somebody very, very computer literate. Yeah.
Would you be able to help them out with anything? Do you think?
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah.
Like IT, maybe?
IT. Yeah, I'll try. If I don't know, I can always ask the boyfriend. He's in IT, so yeah.
Insightful stuff, Emily. Well then, while we go to a quick break, why don't you find the deets of your local bingo hall and introduce yourself to some potential landlords? Welcome back. Over to Europe now, and a French couple is the latest of a series of tourists facing jail time for stealing prize sand from an Italian beach. The couple faces up to 6 years imprisonment and a fine of 3,000 euros for siphoning 40 kilograms of the coveted granules into plastic drinking bottles. The couple were boarding a ferry back to France when the police discovered the loot hidden in their car. The island of Sardinia off the west coast of Italy's mainland is famed for its pristine waters and coastline. But it's the fine white sand that's the real bounty for some tourists who sell it illegally or use it to fill their indoor aquariums. The couple claimed the 14 bottles of sand were souvenirs and that they didn't know they were breaking the law. But this isn't the first time tourists have pillaged Sardinia's sandy coastline. Over the past 10 years, around 10 tons of contra sand have been seized from tourists attempting to smuggle it off the island. This prompted the Italian government to make pilfering sand illegal in August 2017. But plundering natural resources for profit is not an act reserved for politicians. Tourists are just as capable, as our miscellaneous correspondent, Peter, explains.
Thanks, Tavleen. The news breaking out of Sardinia is just the latest in a bizarre string of tourism-related incidents, where people are trying to profit off tourist destinations. Some people have stolen souvenirs, with reports of tourists chipping away chunks of Uluru, and a gang in Sweden who are stealing moose signs, but others, like the sand thieves in Sardinia, are out to make a quick buck. Air sourced from a secret stair passage in Dracula's castle was sold on eBay, with the seller going by the name of Debrad6, including photos of himself carrying a flask for authenticity. Closer to home, these blokes actually calculated the profitability of selling air canisters to China, and for $30 to $50, you could own your very own bottle of air from the countryside beaches of Australia, Bondi, and the Outback. And don't forget, buying air in bulk apparently attracts wholesale discounts. People have been sighted along the beautiful St Kilda foreshore collecting the syringe-laden sand in an attempt to sell it on eBay. Here at The Struggle, we know a good investment when we see one.
Thanks for the info, Peter. I really hope that business venture works out for you. Let's change pace, shall we? Murder. Many say it's bad. So why are TV shows about it so goddamn good? It's not an exaggeration to say that true crime entertainment has been everywhere lately. From series like Making a Murderer and Mindhunter to podcasts like Serial and Dirty John. Apparently, we just cannot get enough. But it appears to be women in particular who can't escape the seductive power of true crime. According to research conducted by Civic Science, viewers of true crime programs tend to be female. So what's with this obsession, ladies? According to journalist and author Rachel Monroe, a proximity to murder makes many women feel more alive. Her recently released book, Savage Appetites, 4 True Stories of Women, Crime and Obsession, follows 4 women who find both a vocation and a sense of purpose in their true crime fixations. The release of her book coincides with Quentin Tarantino's latest flick, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, a movie centered around close-ups of women's feet. That includes a subplot about the Manson murder of actress Sharon Tate. So it's clear that crime sells. But should we be worried about our society's fixation with murder? That's something I would really rather avoid thinking about. Can't we just enjoy and watch our murder mysteries in peace? Here to give us her undoubtedly enthusiastic opinion on the matter is local true crime aficionado and fangirl correspondent, Sophia.
Thanks, Tavleen. You guys, I'm so hyped about Tarantino's new movie. It ticks all my boxes. Murder? Yes. Big cult energy? Yes. Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt? Yes. Yes. Seriously though, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has my true crime senses tingling. You name a true crime podcast, documentary, YouTube series, or movie, I've seen it. Seriously, I binge so much true crime that I'm certain I could solve a murder or commit the perfect one. I've deep dived through every Reddit thread, Wikipedia page, and theory forums, and I am pretty sure that I'm gonna be the one to solve the Zodiac Killer case and prosecute it. Who needs a law degree? I could be admitted to the bar right now.
I object.
I don't know why I'm like this. I just like to unwind at the end of a long and stressful day by binging shows about serial killers. There is nothing more relaxing than getting in bed with a cup of tea and letting the narrator of Forensic Files settle me to sleep with a murder story. Sure, I check under my bed and in my wardrobe for killers every night, but everyone does that, right? We all know murder is bad, heinous, irrevocably awful, so why are we so interested in it? Who knows? Maybe it's morbid curiosity. Maybe it's fear-induced adrenaline. Maybe it's because I guess it's a mystery. Back to you, Tavleen.
Sophia, consider your invitation to that struggle slumber party we were planning cancelled. On that note, we'll take a short break. And we are back again. Runaway brides are one thing, but runaway emus are a whole other story. So that's exactly why we are reporting on it. First, it was the ostrich running rampant in China. Now, it's a wild emu that broke out of a farm in Canada and had to be tasered by police.
This poor little guy.
I guess birds of a feather truly do flock together. Now, an emu is not your typical detainee, but you Aussies know to never underestimate an animal that comes from the land down under. The emu, whose name is Parker, was spotted running down a highway on Vancouver Island. The police quickly determined that Parker was a safety concern for passing motorists, pedestrians, and residents. Police had chased Parker for quite some time before the emu reportedly became aggressive and had to be tasered. Clearly, non-Aussie folk lack knowledge in the emu department, especially where your native animals are concerned.
Righto, we're in Australia here now. What most overseas people get confused about Australian is they think we ride kangaroos to work. But in actual fact, we ride emus.
Don't worry too much though, Parker was returned to the farm unharmed. To give us some more information about Parker's containment is our legal correspondent, Sood again.
Hi, welcome to my office. Due to my ongoing defamation lawsuit against the struggle, I have decided to take up a new client, the emu who escaped the farm. Come on into my office. Allegedly, my client has engaged in prison escape behaviour. Farm escape behaviour. But the tasering of my client actually brings me back to the precedent of the Great War on the Emus in 1932. You know, that time when emus were illegally consuming the crops of ex-soldiers, so the soldiers decided to open fire on the emus in an attempt to scare them away. Yeah, that was actually premeditated murder. Alleged premeditated murder. Anyway, the alleged attempts of the soldiers to kill the emus failed. Turns out an emu's long legs is too much for a soldier to keep up with. So call them what you want. Big chickens, flightless birds, or, God forbid, ostriches. But emus are powerful. And now, people are coming for my client. And that brings me to my next point. Why is an emu in Canada anyway? I wouldn't be surprised if I made out a very special case of bird napping. No wonder why my client rebelled. I've done the exact same thing. I'm wearing ripped jeans to work. See you in court, Tavleen.
So, I would much rather be in a legal stoush with you than handsung any day of the week. Now, let's talk about studying. What's the good of it if the only things you get from your course are debt, increased anxiety levels, and useless pieces of information that have no real-world application whatsoever? For those of you that relate to such disillusion and console yourselves by procrastinating on Stalker Space, there may yet be a solution. On September 8th, the Dubai Press Club will launch the Social Media Influencers Diploma program, which at first glance sounds about as credible as an arts degree. While some of the major skills being taught in the program revolve around public speaking and creating content, there's also a focus on the etiquette and ethics expected of an influencer. And that couldn't be more relevant at the moment, with some influencers having their integrity questioned. Take Instagram personality Tiffany Mitchell, for example, who came under fire recently for allegedly staging a motorbike crash. While Mitchell claims she genuinely had an accident, many were skeptical when they saw the photos, which unfortunately weren't uploaded to Tumblr. Not only was it super convenient that she seemingly had a professional photographer there to perform an impromptu photo shoot, but many were also suspicious that the water bottle in shot was actually a brand endorsement. So, to point out the boundaries of social media morality, we cross now to our jet-setting influencer, Kat.
Hey guys, thanks for watching my channel. So I'm here in Normandy, still on my French sojourn without a care in the world. One thing is bothering me though. Tiffany's being accused of staging that motorbike accident, and honestly, I don't think it's true. I mean, sure, she looked amazing, but she was on her way home from a photo shoot, so it's her job to look amazing. Also, she was with a photographer, and if a model falls in the woods and a photographer is present and doesn't take a photo, did it even happen? Anyway, if she was going to stage a motorbike accident, she could have done a much better job. I'm here to show you how. Now, we're going to need a few accessories to help us on our way. Unfortunately, the struggle wouldn't approve my budget for a motorcycle, so I had to get creative and find a bicycle. Now, Tiffany was lucky not to be significantly injured in her accident, but if we're going to fake this, we need something a little more aesthetic: blood. People love blood. Gore, they love it. Now, I'm not willing to actually injure myself, but I do have my little friend here. Ow! Now, people are also taking issue with the water bottle, saying that it landed upright with the brand perfectly visible. That makes people sus. Tiffany said that her friend gave it to her later, which does make sense. But if we're going to stage this accident, we need to make it look believable. So guys, that's how you stage an accident. Help! Help!
It really is a mystery how you don't have more followers, Kat. Anyway, that's the final siren for this week's episode. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, share and post your fan fiction for the new Matrix movie in the comments below. But until we hit the finals fever of September, the struggle, it's real.